Germs are born in hot climates. Bacteria is birthed in warm and hot climates. So I've touched on this in videos that pertain to the coronavirus to explain how the blocking of the sun may pertain to some of the activity that's occurring right now. I want to speak about this again and put emphasis on the timing of what's occurring right now. To my knowledge, this virus was released in 2019 in the wintertime. So, bacteria cannot live in cold climates. Germs cannot live in cold climates. So, this pertains really to the video, I forget which one, but one of the recent ones where I spoke about how I was going to stay in the house more unless I needed to do something because of a message that I received from a friend stating to, stay home and be conservative and think about the spread of this virus because the message that was sent to me had this part of it that pertained to people celebrating and still going on their trips and going out, and a lot of it was largely associated with being on beaches and being in hot climates. And I explained how that's when I first touched on how the difference between hot climates and cold climates is when you're experiencing something that is a virus or a disease or something like that. In the hot climate, you'd be none the wiser. It's dormant. It's not until the cold climate kicks in that you can determine whether you still have it like that or if you'll lose it. So it's like when you get the common cold in the winter time, it's kind of like a buildup of a cold or bacteria that's already been there in the warmer months. You just were not aware of it until now when the cold weather exposes it, and it will either kill it or in some situations it can harm you, or in the worst case scenario, kill you. So again, with the timing, right? This disease did not take its initial fatal blow until the warmer months came in. So it's just like astrology is applied, where Pisces is the ending of things and self-renewal, right? For you to come back out in this Aries fashion into the universe and do the things that make you stronger while discarding the things that made you perhaps incompetent, perhaps just doing you a disservice. So Aries is also about the crown, the head. It rules the head. Coronavirus actually means crown. Corona means crown. Okay? So that's one hint right there. Now, not only that, when a person is birthed into this world, they come head first, which represents the ram as well. The new birth, the birth of ideas, the birth of creation. So with this slogan that's now pervading, saying, stay home to slow the virus. Like I got off the phone with my lawyer and I was told that even the court cases are being limited to the point where only violent instances are being seen and heard right now, domestic cases and things that are immediate threats. The rest of everything is on hold. Even the law is working from home in a lot of instances. I've also just left outside to the supermarket. It looks like Venezuela. No, let me not say it's not as extreme as Venezuela has been with the what is called socialism has kicked into high gear. Now that I see a glimpse of it here, I think it's different than that. I think it's deeper than that, but that's another video. My point is, when going to the supermarket, I had to wait online at this particular supermarket. I was like, oh shit, now this is getting different, because in Venezuela, the lines are like wrapped around the block a few times, and I think they even have a limit on the amount of goods that you can get in those situations for each family or each individual, whatever the case may be. And again, the slogan is to do this to slow the spread. To slow the spread. So when I get in the supermarket, I think I want to make a point of this as well. There's an aisle, a couple of aisles that were still stocked up, untouched. Now I used to do stock in supermarkets, so I know only the aisles that have like special goods, should I say. And this is from what I know. Like, I could be wrong, but those like Infamil and stuff like that, like those aisles have to be done by specific people that come in from separate companies other than the supermarket entity to unpack those goods. This I remember. But other goods that are like regular day-to-day goods that, have preservatives, whatever, like cocoa and stuff like that, Hershey syrup, stuff like that, like those things should be packed out by the immediate staff in the supermarket. So it's either perhaps the supermarket is getting short on staff because of the situation is not turning over the revenues in order for them to make a profit like they used to, or something else is going on. But I just wanted to make note of that real quick. And so I'm leaving this establishment and I'm thinking like, wow, this is this whole slow to spread thing is deeper. It has a deeper meaning. So I came to the conclusion, no, I've came to determine this slogan as this, that the people, humanity, is supposed to be the actual virus. And humanity is the thing that is supposed to be slowed. Because, I was thinking pretty much might be ignorant, but I'm thinking like, okay, well, if you only let in a certain amount of customers at one time, that's slowing up the inevitable. You understand what I'm saying? If you let 10 in or you let 30 in, it's like the same people, the same types of bacteria, the same type of touching, except for the possibility of the 10 coming in contact with the additional 20, which I don't know about y'all, but I'm not going to supermarkets to shake hands and hug people. But, my point is, it's kind of like the inevitable is what they're saying without saying it. So I've determined this whole slogan to be something of what you're trying to say inadvertently is that people need to stop making people. And that's what brought the stocking up of the backed up goods in the supermarket to my attention, is because how much or how often do we pack our refrigerators and freezers and cabinets with food that we don't need at that moment, right? Like, I know people, I don't know about you, but I know people, especially growing up, that a lot of their social status depended on whether their refrigerator and freezer was full. Like, that was their main thing. And if you couldn't compare to that, like, you was a bum or you wasn't responsible for your family. And it's just like, today, when I see that, if I look in someone's fridge, yeah, I'm going to judge. If I see like mad Kool-Aid jammers and Capri Suns all over the place and fruit roll-ups and, everything is Tricks, Captain Crunch and everything, it's just like, I'm not going to look at you like I'm supposed to celebrate you because of these things, especially if those types of items are there. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm saying that because of the types of ingredients inside of those products. So just think about that for a moment. How much do we really stock up on things that we can't be the wiser to know if the person is even going to be there to live to the next day, to consume all of that, right? Freezer full of turkeys and frozen goods, and how often, right? Just to make this more clearer, how often do you leave your own abode in between supermarket visits? You get what I'm saying? So it's like, you're probably going to go outside 10 to 15 more times before you go food shopping anyway. So what's truly the point of stocking up on all of these goods at one time, in contrast to doing it one day at a time, or every time you go outside, go and get the meal for the day? You understand what I'm saying? I think there's a type of fear factor that has been embedded in the human individual, especially in developed regions, to where the affordance of things like refrigerator that came with the Industrial Revolution, it made people feel like their security was dependent on filling up these appliances, dependent on getting that new car, depended on getting all of these things as a sense of security. When something as pressing as this now occurs, security is really living in the moment and living it day by day, and perhaps having some type of resource left over just in case you have to make a move outside of eating. You understand what I'm saying? Like, how many people, let's say this thing blows over tomorrow, how many of y'all are gonna be looking at all of this surplus of toilet tissue and be like, man, I wish I can get rid of this shit? Like, I really like are going to be on eBay trying to sell your tissue bag, or going back to the store to sell your tissue bag. Like, I just, when leaving the supermarket and I seen how much tissue was, I'm like, yo, you gotta be fucking kidding me now. Like, this shit is, but this is not, I shouldn't be making this a joke, but I need to make my points of this thing is a attempt to tell to tell humanity, like, slow down. You are the virus in a sense. And I don't mean to be mean and harsh to people who are experiencing pregnancies right now, or if you're trying to get pregnant, if you just had a child, um, you know, just take this into consideration for perhaps the next time, and perhaps, and this is just open discussion, right? Because I don't know. Because I know some people that said they wanted a baseball team and they have a baseball team. What was the intent and purpose other than breeding a baseball team? I don't know. I don't know if they know either. And I don't know if that even has to mean something. If that, but it's like when you do sit down and you question it when crises occur, you might say, well, damn, did I make my children for specific reasons, or at least thought you did, until you figured out, oh shit, my children are their own people. Like, I can't control everything that my child does, you know what I'm saying? But did you think about these things when you were making children or had children? Because the same way that people, I'm pretty sure, have derived plans to come bursting out of the gate come springtime during Aries season, a lot of that has been thwarted now with this. And the sun is exalted in the sign Aries, which backtracks to the things that I've hinted to in other videos, stating about the blocking of the sun in the Aquarius age, and the attempt to alter the ego to develop a healthy ego in contrast to an unhealthy one. And y'all already know I've been outside. I have minimized my time out there, but I'll tell you, there are some people, and apart from my ambition, there are some people out there whose ambition is 10 times probably magnified more than mine. Like, they're out there on their missions to do what it is they want to do, intend to do. And this makes one think, like, is this also a time for surveillance to become heavier? And the reason why I say that is because this is the best time, if you are eavesdropping or snooping on society, to see if their movements are other than what they are obligated to do. So if it's understood and calculated already in society that you have a 9 to 5, for example, then whoever's snooping around can hedge on you getting home outside of 5 o'clock within an hour and a half, however long it takes you to commute, and can probably track you from the exiting of that corporate building to the transportation that takes you home, to, in some instances where there's cameras in the building, right? And if not adhering to that calculation, what are you doing outside of that? I'm not here to make a debate about invasion of privacy and all of that. I'm just saying how this can be looked at as a certain time, and whether this can be used for good or for bad, I think that's up to the individual. Not even the individual snooping around. I think it's truly up to the individual. Same way that I mentioned about going to the supermarket for goods that are necessary for today, it could pertain to exactly like my friend sent me the message